And it turns out my basset hound dog had taken an entire, like, hoagie, as we call it down here, a submarine sandwich to the rest of the country, taken it into bed, eaten half of it, and then dragged it and hid it under the covers. So she had her feet in this, like, this submarine sandwich all night. She's like, it was the grossest thing of my life. I wake up with my feet covered in bread and mayonnaise and stuff like that. It was awesome. So, so that's better. It's probably better than finding a Mario Kart in your bed or whatever. So, it's cool.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Just Another Castle podcast after our Christmas holiday break. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're finally back. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week are Eli.
Hello there.
Mike.
It was the distant future 2005 when all I want to do was chill out and retire. But no, I'm not going to.
Okay. Random reference I don't get. And also Unoclay.
Hey guys. I'm trying to sound huge in comparison to tiny Eli.
So before we start, apologies for myself because I'm a little sick and I'll be coughing periodically. But that's about it. I don't have any sniffly noses or anything like that because I'm apparently lucky with colds. So I guess we'll get on to what we've been playing. So it's been a couple of weeks, like we said. So plenty of time to get new games and to play old games and play this and play that. So I've actually finally played a couple of stuff rather than saying nothing. So Cloud finally released for Smash Brothers, and I've been playing that. I think he's pretty cool. I'm not totally used to him because I'm used to using like Marth and Link, who play quite differently for sword fighters. Like I'm used to Marth's air attacks being much quicker than some of Cloud's, but I like the feel of Cloud. His limit breaks are really cool, where he has powered up special attacks. And even though Midgar is really just a battlefield type of stage, just the layout of it, and I'm not super crazy about hazards. Like, I don't hate them. I think they're pretty cool, but sometimes they can be annoying. I think Midgar is just so much fun. I love it so much with all the all the summons coming in, like the fire pushing the stage up on an angle, and the water. I think a monster can come out and eat you, and the electricity like slicing the stage in half and all that. It's just so much fun to see all those characters coming in. I'm not even like a guy who grew up on Final Fantasy, but just the way it was executed is really cool. I love it. So I've been playing Smash, of course, but I also played a bit of Shadow Complex that I was able to get free because they were giving it out for free. I don't know how long I've played it. I think I've played a couple hours of it. As far as walkthroughs on YouTube are concerned, it looks like it probably has like 7 to 8 hours of gameplay, so longer than I thought. But I have to use like Unreal's version of Uplay, which is dumb because they only have like 4 games on their store. So it's pretty much useless. They're like, come use our service to buy our games, of which we have none of. Unlike Ubisoft or Steam, which has like tons of games. But besides that, it's a pretty cool Metroidvania, like side-scrolling shooter kind of game. It looks like it gives you a bunch of branching paths, but it really doesn't. It's pretty linear, especially when you open the map and it's like, here, go to this follow this exact path, because there's not much else. But there's a couple of squares you can break off and find some other pieces of equipment to upgrade your stuff and stuff like that. It's neat. I haven't gotten all the items. The foam seems like it could be cool, but it hasn't been used for much. The one thing I do think it's used for that's cool is, let's say there's a door and there's a scan. Well, actually, all doors have scanners on them, or most of them at least. And you can't get past it because it'll scan you and know you're not one of the enemies. But with the foam, now you can shoot the foam on the scanner part of it, and it won't be able to scan you because it's blocked. And then it'll just open up the door anyway. So I thought that was a cool little way of using that. And I think you can get missiles too, from what I've seen. So it'll be cool what the full arsenal ends up using for puzzles and whatnot. I don't think it's probably going to use them in that many creative ways, but it's a fun game to listen to stuff and play around with. And finally, for the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of harping that I wanted to get Yoshi's Woolly World because ever since I've seen it, I've just been dying to play it. So I finally sold Super Mario Maker to pay for it because it was on sale. I know. It went on sale for like $15. And
I'm shaking my head. You go.
Oh.
I'm just shaking my head, man. Yeah.
I know.
You know what? As long as you rebuy Mario Maker later in the future, it won't be that
I
bad.
might. Who knows if it gets cheap or something. But no, it was on sale for like $15, and I was able to get Super Mario Maker. Or I was able to sell it for $30 at Best Buy. If it was going to be like 20, I don't know if I was going to do it because you get to a certain point where it's like, well, I'm not really getting much back. But no, it was worth it, I'd say, because I don't know, I really like Yoshi's Woolly World. There's a lot of cool new things they added, and just the aesthetics and the level design is really good. I'm only about 2 worlds in, so I haven't gotten extremely far, but I'm trying to keep it slow, so I'll finish a couple of levels, or I'll finish one level and go back and get all the yarn so I can get the different costumes to use, which are pretty cool. And it's funny because there's a Wii U, so what you can do is after you get all the flowers in each level in a world, you unlock another secret level, and if you get all the yarn in that, you can get, a secret yarn costume. And one of the secret yarn costumes in the first world is a Wii U costume, and I thought to myself, like, man, even in Nintendo's games, the Wii U is a secret to everyone. I'm like, this is kind of sad. But I don't know, I was just laughing at it because even Nintendo won't shy away from it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. So now that Eli's mic works, why don't we go on to Eli?
Hey, yeah, I guess we haven't done a podcast, so I've been playing a ton, but unfortunately not very much Nintendo stuff, primarily because I didn't take my Wii U home for the holidays, so I was mainly playing on the 3DS.
Yeah.
And then PS4, because I did take my PS4 home for the holidays. So I guess I'll start with, let's see, I played Super Time Force for the PS4, which is a really good game, I think. It's really fun. The way the mechanics work is that you play through, and whenever you die, you have the option to rewind. And you'll rewind to whichever point you want at any point in the level. But the catch is your old self is still alive, so it continues shooting and it continues doing all its sort of things. So, for example, for boss battles, it ends up being an interesting mechanic because you'll fight and you could go, and there's a time limit, and you'll run out after 60 seconds. So you could play for the full 60 seconds and not take down the boss. But then you'll rewind the whole way, and you'll have a second guy, and then a third guy, and then progressively, the stages of the boss, you start taking them down quicker and quicker in different stages. You'll be able to get through quicker and quicker. So I think it's a fun game. It's kind of in a retro style. So I definitely recommend it. So let's see, what else did I play? I played Fallout 4. I beat it. The thing I loved about Fallout 4 is the world and the way that its characters and side quests all mesh together to create a really believable world.
Yeah.
But man, the gunplay is bad.
Really? So did you play Fallout 3? Because I'm hearing people don't like Fallout 4 as much as 3. So I want to know if you had any thoughts on it.
This is the first Fallout game I played, so I can't really speak to that.
Yeah.
But like the gunplay is not great in my opinion at all.
The VAT system?
The VAT is here's the thing, like the game is practically impossible without VATs.
Yeah.
And VATs, I mean, it is what it is, but you don't really feel that accomplished by using VATs because it's pretty much automatic targeting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I'm not a huge fan of VATs. And then, let me think. There are glitches, which I don't really like. The game crashed on me before. There was a game-ending glitch, so I had to reload like an earlier save. The graphics aren't that pretty at all. It's just, it's sad because the world and story and characters and choices and everything were so interesting. But the gameplay just wasn't up to snuff for me anyway. Some of the other stuff I played. Did I talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider last time? I don't remember.
I think you mentioned it at some point, but go over it again anyway.
I know. Yeah, I mean it's a fun adventure game. I really enjoyed it. I think that if you have an Xbox One or PS4 next year, you should owe it yourself to play it. At least get it on sale. I bought it for $30 and it was totally worth it. I think it's a really excellent adventure game.
Yeah.
The moment-to-moment gameplay is just spectacular. You really enjoyed playing it.
Yeah. I remember at least playing the first one, and I had some fun with that. So, yeah, I'd say if you can get it for a decent price, the second one probably is just as good, if not better.
Yeah. Oh, and I remember I talked about Broken Age last time, but only the first half, and how it blew my mind completely. The second half... I know where it's...
Okay, go.
The second half I played through, it's not as good as the first half. Mm-hmm. I think there was nothing particularly mind-blowing at the end of it. I still think the game is pretty fun. You definitely owe it to yourself to at least play the first half. Mm-hmm.
It just sounds funny. It's finish half of it and then just drop it.
Yeah, I mean...
Doesn't matter how it ends or anything.
Yeah, the second half doesn't really matter, but the first half, I really recommend playing it. It kind of just, screws with you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, the payoff at the end of the first half it's just spectacular. I don't even know how to describe it. It all comes together and you're like, oh my god. I also played The Stanley Parable and Her Story.
Nice. So well, I've only played The Stanley Parable, but yeah, go on.
Stanley Parable's fun. It's like this choose-your-own-adventure game, kind of. And you walk in, and each game probably lasts 20 seconds. I mean, not 20 seconds. I'm lying to myself. Maybe 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you play through, and you make a choice, and you make another choice. And it's these branching paths. And at the end, you always most of the time you just die.
Yeah.
And then you restart at the beginning, and you make different branching paths. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. It's a curious game. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to interject because I love that game. For those people who don't know, basically the game plays with your expectations. So they kind of break the fourth wall a lot by saying oh, you should go in this door and whatever, because in most games you would go and take this path and then you have to take another path instead. Just the way it plays with game mechanics and kind of pokes fun at the industry and whatever is really funny. And apparently he made a new game. I didn't even realize until I saw IGN's awards list. I forget what it's called, but it's on Steam now. And it looks kind of neat, so I'd say look for that. At least The Stanley Parable. But go on Her Story.
No, yeah, and I think Her Story's a little bit overrated. It's not... The way it works is that you're, searching this police database, and you type in different search terms, in a Google search, and whatever terms match the video terms, it'll pull up this, set of videos, and you watch these videos, and you try to put together this crime and what happened. And it's okay. I mean, the story's cool, and it's cool to think about afterwards, but... It's literally you typing in words and then watching videos, and it's the game element, is not there.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. It's a specialized search engine, really, or a fictionalized search engine, I should say. Which is really unfortunate. I think that there's value for the game. I'm very hesitant with this because I feel like there's a certain value in the game. Sure, it's unique. But I wouldn't say it's fun,
Yeah. That's too bad, because I didn't really know too much about it other than, they show a couple of videos of it, and I didn't realize you searched and stuff. But yeah, it sounds like it could have been so much more than just here, watch these videos of exposition and a story. It sounds like they could have had, one of those CSI elements where, you see someone typing crap into a computer, and because obviously a TV show, it just does it for you. But if they had that sort of element where you have to find things on your own through a bunch of file systems, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. If it was more like reading documents and stuff, I could see how it would be more fun. But yeah, just watching the videos, I was not a fan of that element, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much as I said. We haven't had a session in a few weeks, so I played a bunch of short games. I also played SteamWorld Heist, but not a ton of it, and so I don't really have much to add from last time.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that game that the Stanley Parable creator created is called The Beginner's Guide. And it kind of sounds similar to what her story could have been. At least from the trailer, there's a file list and there's a bunch of videos. But what sounds different from this than her story is with her story, you search a couple of things and you watch these videos and she gives you an explanation of what's happening. And I'm assuming there's broken segments and you kind of piece them together in your brain. But from the beginner's guide, from the trailer, it's just like this Windows folder with a bunch of random videos and games that really don't seem like they connect at all to each other. But from what the trailer says, it's like, oh, piece together what kind of person this is if they make this kind of game and this kind of game. And they're all like 10-second games from what they look of it, but they're all just so weird. It's kind of that cerebral thing where, oh, what kind of person does make this kind of thing? Are they sad? Are they happy? This and that. So there might be a bit more there than it might be less is more, where there's no exposition there, but there's more to sink into, whereas her story might have been a bit too much and not enough thinking for yourself or that kind of thing. So I'd say look that up and see if you're interested. So Mike, why don't we go on to what you've been playing?
Alrighty, I've been playing Mad Games, so I think I finally bought some PC games. So I was playing some CSGO, and I was like, wow, I'm terrible. Like, I got better. I have over a 1 KDR by a fraction. So that means I'm like the best human ever, because in CSGO it's impossible for anyone to ever have, above 1 KDR. No, that game's awesome. It's an awesome way to kill time. Now what I really actually bought was Freedom Planet, which I was talking to Matt before, like it came out on the Wii U, like it took a while for it to come out on the Wii U, and actually got announced for a sequel already, but yeah, it's been out on PC for a while. So I was like, I used to read these reviews, and it's like, oh, ZMOMG, Sonic, bro. And I'm like, Sonic, you've intrigued me, alright, with that one name. Now, playing it's not Sonic. So it's like, it doesn't have that same speed element. Like, no, the platforming is not really Sonic. I mean, if you compare it, like, maybe to Sonic CD, I can see similarities there. But, reviewers don't ever have played games, so that's unlikely. But I really like it. It's like a mix of like Sonic CD and like Mega Man X kind of action. I haven't finished it. I've only played like 6 stages, 7 stages. There's an adventure mode and classic mode. I'm assuming the adventure mode just gives me the story cutscene.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure on it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's only like $9-10. I might, like, really depending on the ending, like, I'll see if I'm gonna get the sequel of it. Not Kerblah, whatever. Other than that, I've been getting my Mario Maker on. I kind of retired from, like, competitive Smash, even though, ironically, I was at a Smash tournament yesterday. But that was just because I was like, I could go for a quick cat.
Yeah,
so, I won, like, $40-50. I was like, alright, whatever.
What made you stop? What's the deal?
What really killed it for me was the Direct. That was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So I honestly didn't want to support Smash anymore after it. But other than that, like, I don't know, I haven't had the drive, I guess. And I was like, man, Smash is making me not play as many games as I want to. Yeah. So I was like, sorry, Smash. And then that Direct came out. And then I was like, holy shit, I hate Smash, especially for what happened with that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later for sure.
Yeah. Alright, but let's see. Okay, so I feel like I beat, like, other games, too. Oh, yeah, I started Kirby Triple Deluxe and Yoshi's New World. Yoshi's New World, I'm really probably, like, it's gonna be a really slow play, or I might not even play it. Like,
the 3DS
the first level,
one?
like, I liked it.
Yoshi's New
like
Island?
it's too
Yeah.
slow. Like why is it's so heavy? Like why is he so heavy? Like it makes no sense. Like I guess it's my fault for too highly regarding Super Mario World 2. Like I freaking like I love that game. Like it's such a secret good game, even though it's not secret, but still. So I don't know. I'm not really too much enjoying it. Kirby Triple Deluxe is pretty awesome though. Like I'm really I'm liking that.
Yeah.
I think it's a well-made Kirby game. Oh,
Yeah.
you go, Matt.
Yeah, I think the new powers in the game are really cool. It's like Circus. Crap, it's been a while since I played it, but there were some pretty cool. Oh, Beetle was one of them. So Circus Beetle, and there were like two other
Beetle's
ones.
all. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
for
cool.
me, dude, I love it, but like I'm like, man, this is only possible because of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which nobody played and gave worse ratings to than Kirby's epic shit. And it's like, come on, man, that's an epic doo doo right there. And I'm playing Return to Goodness, and it's like, come on. But yeah, that's pretty good. I did play Super Time Force a while ago. I did like the game, though. I did find some of the elements to be kind of boring or tedious. But it's always because I had to go for everything, so that's probably why. But what the hell else? I'm totally playing something else on my Vita. Damn, son. Can't remember, but I know I just downloaded Grim Fandango. Oh, I played Undertale, which is the most overrated, hype piece of shit game I've ever played.
So from
like,
I don't.
oh my God.
So Mike, you played Earthbound. From what I can see of Undertale, it looks like
not.
it's. I was gonna say inspired by it, like
Yeah,
just
it's
from the
not.
aesthetic and
So-
stuff. But I haven't played it myself. I don't really know how it works. So what about it
Alright.
do you think is overrated? Because I'm kind of getting annoyed,
Oh,
honestly, if
what about
people
it?
bring it up. A lot.
Okay, so first off, it's not Earthbound. Okay, it's not even an RPG. Its gameplay is so bad. Like this is a game where it's supposed to be all derived on story, and okay, the story is interesting. Okay, but the gameplay is so boring of it that it's not fun. Like honestly, I think it's more fun to people to learn the story or watch it like lamos. Like the thing is, the game is played off like you think it's an RPG and it's a twist. And I don't want to spoil it, but are you guys ever gonna play it? I'm not like gonna spoil the whole thing. It's just
Try to stay away from spoilers in case someone listening.
all right. Man, okay. How can I can't because what you think is the game is not, and it's stupid because of it. Like, it's not an RPG, but if you think it's an RPG, you don't win. That's it. That's the only way I can explain it.
That's weird.
Yeah, look, I'll give it credit. Its story is kind of interesting, but just because some gay developer made it and there's LGBT bullshit in it, who gives a shit? That doesn't make the game great. Like, yeah, multiple endings is kind of cool, and like, this overly developing like storyline that, like if you get these, multiple path stuff and figure out a la Five Nights at Freddy's, like, hidden under lore. But it's like, man, I came to play a game, and it's like, I did not have fun. I was like, when I was playing, I was like, when does the game get fun? You know what I mean? Like, intrigue can only do so much. It's not like The Last of Us where it was just terrible and stupid. It was just terrible, but with some intrigue. But it was like, dude, I fell asleep. Like, I was like, I'm going to bed. I would play that as my last game, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm tired. Like 20 minutes, I'd be like, I can go to bed right now. I would close the game, go to bed, feel good. But it's, it's a good option if you want to go to sleep. I totally played something else too, but that game just makes me angry thinking about it. So I just hate, best game ever, 10 out of 10. Like, it's not a game. It's not a game. Okay? You know what? I love Mother 3. I think Mother 3 is like, fantastic RPG. I wouldn't even give that game a 10 out of 10. That would be like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, Earthbound's like an 8 out of 10. So, and like, I love Mother 3. I cried in Mother 3 while I was at work when I beat that game, alright? So, you don't tell me that game is not good.
Oh, man. Emotions are flying. Yes, I wanted to say one quick thing about Yoshi's New Island. I got it for free because of some points or whatever for 1 year. And this is when I was back in college, which sounds like it's forever ago. It's not. But no, I was playing a bit on like commutes and stuff. And I'm like, I don't feel like playing this game anymore. It kind of sucks. It's really boring. I can't be
he's
bothered.
so heavy. Like,
It's
what
a-
is
it's
this?
a-
Like,
yeah,
it seems
it's
cool, but
it's a nothing game. But now let's finally move on to Unoclay. So what have you been playing?
Hey guys, welcome back from the holidays. Nice to hear your voices again. I spent a lot of it playing games, not too much though. I was busy with a lot of travel and things like that. So very briefly, not to go on too long, especially since some of the games I've been playing are pretty old. I'll go kind of in age order. I got a copy of Shadow of the Colossus for PS2 for Christmas.
Nice.
So since this is a Nintendo-based podcast and we've mainly talked about non-Nintendo games this whole time, I'll just kind of say, if you haven't played that game, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I'd heard a lot about it, and it's worthy. I think there's a remaster, right, on one of the current
Yeah, on
PlayStations.
PS3. That's how I play
Right.
it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. I mean, I'm getting a little bored of it. I'll be honest. I'm getting a little way into it, and it doesn't seem to have a lot of change-ups to the gameplay.
Mhm.
But that aside, I really think it's a cool game and it's neat. It doesn't talk at me a lot, which I've mentioned before. Kind of bothers me. It's mostly just gameplay, and it's hard. It's challenging. So I'm enjoying that.
Have you played against one of the lions?
No, I'm
Okay,
only
then-
on the fourth. I'm only on the fourth Colossus.
Okay,
so,
I think you can play them in any order, but basically I think there's like two lions and they are a pain in the ass. So
Yeah.
It's basically a bucking bronco.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them are, basically, in their own way. Yeah,
I mean, like,
it's
this one is like you have to jump on it from like 100 stories and then hold on to it and make sure it doesn't like throw you off because it's like
Okay.
the size of like a lion and like goes crazy. But other
Cool.
than those two, the other ones are really cool. They're more puzzle based.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I had to cheat once already because I kind of just was running around for like a half hour straight and could sense myself getting bored. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, if this is a Nintendo game, Navi would be here like telling me like 20 things to do, and this ain't Nintendo. So I'm like just running around in circles, like, how do I beat this guy? This is getting stupid.
Yeah.
Getting ready to like hit the power button and kill it. So I didn't feel too bad about looking it up because I was like, I could sense myself getting ready to quit and then maybe not come back to it. So I did look up a couple things on GameFAQ, but other than that, in time, let's see. So what else did I play? Coming toward the future of games in terms of chronology, I got a copy of Pac-Man Galaga Dimensions for my 3DS, which has one game in it. Was the only reason I wanted to pick it up, which has Pac-Man Championship Edition in it,
Yeah.
which I'd only ever tried out once before in my life, and it is exactly as awesome as everyone knows it is. I know I'm last of the party there, so I won't talk a ton about it. It's sick. I am obsessed with it. My 3DS, I broke the disc controller. How do you say it?
Oh my
The
gosh,
thumb
circle
stick.
pad, yeah.
Yeah, the circle pad flew off the day I got smashed. 3DS like just went
Oh,
flying
man.
like the first day, and I tried super gluing it back on. That didn't work out. So I'm playing it without it, which basically kind of works as long as you develop a huge callus on your thumb because it's kind of sharp,
Bad.
And it's like, but for Pac-Man, that's kind of good because you really need that quick turn action. So I currently have kind of a red blister on my thumb from playing Pac-Man Championship
Oh
Edition
my gosh.
a bunch. That just stuff is like, if I was going to a desert island, the frank truth is that kind of stuff would go with me. It's what I could play for the rest of my life. I just get so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Even the challenges built into the DS version, I don't know if they're the same on all the other versions, but the challenges, the achievements are things that are like out of reach. And I consider myself a fairly good Pac-Man player since I've been playing it for, 30 years of my life or something like that. So, yeah, I love it. I didn't even try the Galaga game yet, to be honest. I just jumped right in Pac-Man, never turned off the system yet. It's just been in standby
Nice.
for 2 weeks with Pac-Man on the front screen.
Yeah, I played the Galaga one because I got both of them. They were on sale on PSN for like $1 or something. The Pac-Man Championship Edition is awesome because basically a steroid-infused version of Pac-Man that just ups the ante and it's like this is the next level of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And then Galaga, I never really played the originals or anything. I guess I didn't really play much of original Pac-Man either, but I don't know. Galaga didn't seem all that great to me, or the Galaga Dimensions didn't seem all that great. But I don't know. You might like it better.
My hopes aren't too far. I played a lot of Galaga back in the day, like everybody else of my age. But I mean, Pac-Man's a better game. Sorry to say it,
Yeah.
Galaga fans. So we'll see. But yeah, that's neat, and that's out there. People that are listening and have a 3DS, and if maybe you want it on the go, or you don't have another way to play it, like me, since I abstain from most other systems just in the interest of having a life outside of gaming. It's probably pretty cheap now. I don't know. I got it for a gift, but I'm betting like $20 or less. Brand new in the wrapper. So you can check out eBay or wherever. But that. It's not like a game that, is going to cost you $100 like a certain other Nintendo exclusive title that I failed to buy, and I'm sure we'll talk about later in the podcast, and now I'm super pissed about. But we can skip that for now. Quickly moving on, I did get Yoshi's Woolly World for Christmas. There's the joke on me, a certain, as mentioned before, unnamed game that I do want to play excessively that features a sexy witch protagonist. I didn't put it on my Christmas list because I figured I'm going to buy that no matter what. I'll list some games for my wife, maybe games I wouldn't buy otherwise. Some ideas for gifts. So Yoshi's Woolly World comes in my Santa stocking. It's a great game. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be too easy. I thought it was going to be some Kirby romp. I know you guys and I disagree about that a little bit. I'm not huge into like so-called relaxing games. I kind of usually am like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Out the door with that stuff. But Yoshi's is a lot like a casual Donkey Kong Country is the best way to put it. And if you want it to be hard, you can make it hard, because even a skilled gamer, you're going to have trouble getting all the collectibles in each level. I'm sure. But what do you think, Matt? Have you been getting them all, or are you kind of missing a few here and there?
No, I've been going back, like I'm only 2 worlds in, and to kind of keep the game going on longer rather than beat all of it and then try to go and collect all the costumes, because I won't be able to get them all that way because I'll just get bored. I'm just kind of like, after 1 or 2 levels, I'll go back and get all the flowers and the yarn.
Yeah, but the hearts, man. I'm talking about the hearts. Those are
Screw the hearts. I'm not bothering with that.
I'm getting
the hearts and the dumb stickers I don't care about. The costumes and the flowers I'll get.
No, I've got the flowers and the yarn wools almost every time. I get all of them, or maybe miss one, and then I go back and get it like you. But I mean, if you want all 4, to the listeners, basically, there's the standard collectibles in the Yoshi games, the flower and the yarn balls. In this one, you have to pick up to free the other Yoshis. That's the plot. You gotta save the other Yoshis. Surprise, surprise. But then there's 2 other achievements that you got to finish the level with all your damage intact. You can't take you can take hits during the level, but you have to finish with your damage meter fully filled. So that's really hard. I would say that's the hardest one, wouldn't you, Matt? That's like,
yeah, because I don't think you can get health at all other than the hearts that you find. So basically, you can't get hit.
Yeah, once in a while there's a heart recharge. So maybe conservatively speaking,
the checkpoints.
Yeah, the checkpoints you'll get refilled a little bit, and once in a while you'll find a hidden block that'll give you a little bit of your health back. But I'm about where you are in the game. I've finished Worlds 1 and 2, and yeah, by that point, you could maybe afford 1 hit in the level, maybe 2, and have a shot at getting that achievement, finishing the level with all your health. But otherwise, you're done. If you die in the last segment of the level, you're probably not going to be able to do it, because they'll start you at a checkpoint with half your damage, and it almost feels cheap. A little bit a way to extend the game, but I'm not going to dock the game points for that. It's just a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's for the people that are really good at the game, and that's fine. And then the other one is the gems. You have to find literally every coin or gem or whatever they are in the level to get all the stamps, which you can use in Miiverse, which is cool.
I'm surprised they have so many stamps, because it's like you finish the first world and it's like you have 100 stamps. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's
how many stamps are in this gosh dang game?
Yeah, it does seem like very plentiful. Like, you get so many stamps that if you want to go to Miiverse and stamp it up, you're going to be well stocked with this game. You're gonna be able to make graphics all day long if that's your thing. But yeah, usually I'll finish the level on that one, and they cleverly will hide a handful of gems somewhere that you missed, even if you're pretty good, and you'll finish the level with nearly all the gems, nearly all the stamps. Mm-hmm. But not quite all of them. So yeah, it does have a certain threshold of, like, if you're a completionist, it's going to be a really hard game. It's going to really ratchet up the difficulty, and that's kind of cool. So far I think it's probably the best Yoshi game since Yoshi's Island. Am I wrong? I mean,
no, that's what I've been hearing everywhere.
I mean, like, Yoshi's Cookie, forget it. Yoshi,
Yeah.
Yoshi, the puzzle game, forget it.
Yeah,
You know?
hey, I was gonna say, you know what's really good about this game though? Like, the fact that you're going for everything. Like, this game makes you want to go for the secrets. I was telling like Matt this before. Like, this game's just like, oh, okay, like you don't have to, but it's just so good that you want to get everything in it. And I'm like, wow, this game, it's just smooth. Like, all the levels are awesome. There's so much to do. And co-op mode is actually not that bad. I played it with Phil, and I was like, wow, this is pretty smooth. And not like you're in my way, like New Super Mario Brothers Wii kind of thing. Like, it actually works in a way where both players are.
Yeah, I was playing it yesterday with one of my best friends, in fact, and he's not, like, always the most skilled gamer. I was kind of coaching him through one or two levels, playing co-op with him, just staying out of the way, basically. And then he kind of picked it up, and exactly like your experience. Yeah, we were having a good time and working together. I'd yell things out. I'd be like, shoot that thing. All right, I got the eggs, And I really, one note on that, in fact, the cool, to the listeners, basically, if you think of the way in Mario World, if you're playing co-op in the new Mario World games, or, you can bubble each other and things like that. In this one, you can eat each other like a Yoshi, eat them and put them in an egg. But there's a penalty. If you eat the other person and then they wiggle out of the egg before you release them, they will steal all the eggs you have in your cube.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good way to punish you for eating the other player. So it's almost like you could eat them by accident, and as long as you spit them out right away, cool, no problem. But otherwise, they're going to swipe your stock, and now you got no eggs. And it's kind of funny. It's a neat idea, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's a really good game. That was my surprise, game. Just people don't talk about it that much, but it's a really good game. It's one of the Wii's.
It is.
But
other than that, I'll wrap up. Other than that, I've been playing with Smash, playing with the new Cloud. I obviously have a different reaction than Mike. Because
Cloud's cool. I'm not against Cloud.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I like Cloud, and I'm not a sword fighter player, except for Toon Link. Really, I don't think I play any sword characters other than him, and I think he's OP a little bit, but that's just me as an amateur. I mean, me and my friends play Cloud almost every time we play now, and it feels like even if you haven't used him very much, you win more than maybe you would with another character. Even if you're like one of my neighbors who comes over and plays and is doesn't even own him, and is like, look at this Cloud, I'll just clobber you, knockout punch. He's a pretty powerful character, so he's fun. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing. I was also at the Barcade up in East Village, kind of in your neck of the woods, Mike, over the holidays, and I thought about trying to get in touch with you, but when I finally got to Barcade, it was 2 a.m. on January 1st, so I didn't think you would want me to be hunting you down on Skype and be like, dude, you should come down to the East Village. So, yeah, but I was up in New York and played some classic arcade games at that arcade there, too, and I was pretty sick, because that's a cool spot. So I was playing some fighting games and playing some other stuff on the classic retro games up there in New York City. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's it for me.
So,
Wait, what's the Barcade? Wait, which Barcade?
The one in East Village, the one that's St. Mark's Place.
Okay, yeah, that's the only one I have. I was at 24th and 7th this past Thursday. Well, and then I went to the Williamsburg one, which is the biggest, best one. But yeah, I spent $4 trying to beat the X-Men co-op game with all my friends. I was like $4 in an arcade day. Oh my god, that's a lot of money.
That's funny you mentioned that game. They have the co-op X-Men 6-player, or is it 6?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the one I was playing, man. Oh.
They have that one down here in Philly at our arcade, and my friend's birthday was on Friday night, and I was just out there, and they were doing the same thing. They were banging money into that game, and I was
you can't go wrong with that game. You can't. It's perfect.
I was not jumping in. I've beaten it so many times with people that I'm not playing it. I'm not. I'm going over here on Burger Time. See you guys later.
I know. I was also playing some Tapper, man. Yo, it was bullshit. The controls I had were wet. Somebody had their wet beer on it. But first, before we go on, Dragon's Lair, I hate that game. That game made me angry. I had to walk away how angry I was because I couldn't figure out.
I beat that game, believe it or not. I beat it. I couldn't say I could do it right now, but if you gave me an hour with it, I could beat it.
There's this Sega virtual reality game that's like Dragon's Lair that I played, and you keep shooting you're a cowboy and you travel through and you got to shoot these virtual, and people act it out. It's a whole virtual reality thing that I played. It was awesome, dude. It's a top-down thing. It was next to the Tron game, so like I guess the VR section. But it's made by Sega, and it's literally like a Dragon's Lair. So I went to 1998, and I had to shoot like Cowboys or dodge from a Yankees pitcher throwing a fastball. I had to dodge underneath that. Like, it was weird. I don't know if you ever heard of it or saw it. It's super weird, but it's Dragon's Lair, aka Sega version with a virtual reality camera.
I know what game you're talking about. I can't think of the name. I'll mention it later in the podcast. But yeah, totally. Okay. But all right. Me and Mike can have a love fest about arcade games some other time, The listeners are like, so how do we play these games? Oh, you can't unless you go to an arcade.
Oh, okay.
Going outside?
Okay.
I wish we had an arcade. So yeah, I guess we'll move on to Amiibo news. There's not a whole lot, or at least a whole lot I wanted to write down. Shovel Knight kept going back and forth with whether it's available or not, but so during the Smash Direct, they said the Famicom version of Rob, which is the white and red one, the cool-looking one, Ryu and Roy Amiibo are coming March 18th. Shovel Knight has this weird stock range. There's going to be like 2 to 16 units per store based on whether it's Best Buy or Target or whatever shipment they get in. So I guess you got a hope for the best for that. The Bowser and DK Skylanders are going to be standalone, so you don't have to buy the game with it, and they'll come with their vehicles, except for the dark versions, which I don't think are as cool anyway. But so if you were waiting for those, you can get them without spending $100 or whatever insane amount it was. A couple of things were announced as far as games go. 1080 snowboarding on N64 is coming to Wii U. The 3 NES Zapper games, which are Wild Gunman, Hogan's Alley, and Bayou Billy, are coming to the eShop, which I figured Unoclay might like one of those.
I already own them all on my Nintendo. Why would I buy that?
I figured, I don't know.
No, I'm glad for people to be able to play that stuff. It's a good way to preserve it, since you can play them with your Wiimotes and stuff like that. It's cool, you know?
That's cool. And then, so before we get on to some other thing, Box Boy is getting a sequel. It's just called Box Boy Another Box. It looks kind of neat. I wanted to play the first one. I didn't get to it. I think it's like $5 or something. I forget how much it costs, but
it's a great game.
Yeah,
it's a great game.
Yeah,
Box Boy's really fun.
Yeah.
That name is hilarious.
Box Boy Another Box.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like, whatever, it's the next thing. Go for it. And one other thing that happened, well, I guess not this week, but in our time, is that apparently Bayonetta 2 is hard to find now. There's some rumors that it might be going out of print. And now it's kind of like on eBay and stuff. So, Unoclay, why don't you tell us about your escapades?
I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. It sucks because it's real. Like, I got the notification like an hour or two after it went crazy on the internet, went and looked, and I was only like maybe an hour or 2 hours late to the party at the most, and it was already jacked in price. And that's a game down here in the U.S. that at my local GameStop, I walked by it no less than 5 times. That had it for like $35 or so, new or used, and now you can't get it. It's upsetting. But I'm wondering if they'll reprint it. I mean, what's the...
I'm saying holy shoot because I see it on eBay and someone's listing it for $115. So it's not a small markup, for sure.
No. I'm wondering, does anyone know what the likelihood or kind of history of Nintendo with a game that might be, like, they ran a print edition and then something like this? What do people think the likelihood of them reissuing?
Xenoblade Chronicles?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, and I mean, it happened back in the GameCube days, too, with Twilight Princess and the Pikmin 2.
There's only one store that has this game before you go on. It's in Philadelphia. That's it. Bingo Super CPR, you get it pre-owned at that GameStop. It's the only one there. The only one. It's 87 miles.
Wait, you're saying in Philly at Aramingo Avenue? That's like a block. That's like a few miles from my house.
No, Aramingo Super Center, 2539 Castor Ave, Site D, Philadelphia, PA, is the only GameStop. The only GameStop that has it right now, apparently.
It's funny because I saw this game on sale earlier last year.
Yeah, I saw it everywhere, and I'm like, I'm never buying this game. And then I would laugh, and then I'd go back, and then I'd be like, I'd pull up a knife, stab the box a little bit, and then I'd be like, then I'd walk away.
All my friends that own it said it's awesome. I know Mike's not into it, but all my friends that have it says it's really great. As I've said before, I was planning on playing it, and what was that, Tiny Eli?
It is really great. I want to add a little bit. There was another piece of Amiibo news related to Shovel Knight that you didn't say.
Yeah, because I keep seeing Shovel Knight stuff pop up in and back and forth. I'm like, it's available in the UK. It's not. I'm like, forget it. Just whatever.
Yeah, not about the availability though.
Oh,
it doesn't have. So most Amiibo have a sticker at the bottom, which don't let you use it in the box. So you have to take it out of the box.
Oh,
Shovel Knight Amiibo does not have that. So you can keep your Shovel Knight Amiibo in your box and use it.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say
That's
that seems like a problem on their hands, because the reason they blocked it out before was so you couldn't just buy an Amiibo, keep it in box, scan it for whatever thing, and then return it. And I don't know if you need to scan Shovel Knight's Amiibo every time you use it. I think it's just the once to unlock the content. I could be wrong on that, but who knows? Who knows? Again, people don't really like... Well, I guess scalpers sell Amiibos, but everyone else pretty much keeps them, so I guess that won't really be too much of a problem. I hope to get them at some point down the line. But moving on from that, so one of the big things that happened during our time off was the final Smash Direct. And as everyone know, they revealed off the final two characters as Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates and Bayonetta from Bayonetta, who was the... I was gonna say Reader's Choice. Was the... Smash ballot vote, the most voted.
That is a lie. Okay, every character that had more votes than Bayonetta became a Mii costume, and you all know that shit is true. All right.
Yeah, I can't clarify. I can't. Obviously, no one can say who had more votes because they have everything. But I think the costumes were like, look, we're not really gonna make these characters, but we'll throw you a bone. Here's a costume of something. I mean, with Gino, he probably wasn't going to be a character anyway, but I think it's cool they threw in a costume.
They could get Cloud. Okay, no. They get Cloud from Square, but they couldn't get Gino. Was he next door at the office? The guy was on vacation. Come on.
I think it's because he won't get enough attention as other characters will. But I forget what else I was going to say about that. But I was going to say the costumes could just be a way to gauge people's interest. Well, I guess the whole ballot is a way to gauge people's interest to see what characters they could put in the future. But I guess the costumes could be even more so by saying, oh, maybe if enough people buy this, we can really see that some people are interested. Not a perfect thing, obviously, because just because you like the character doesn't mean you'll buy the costume, but it might help them decide what characters they might put in the future. But yeah, when I first saw this, I was pretty pissed because I see it opening. Hold on, you'll get to talk. So it opens up, and I see Fire Emblem Fates. I'm like, are you kidding me? We have like 6 Fire Emblem characters. we already got a DLC one, and now you want another one. It's weird because people are like, oh, well, it's to promote the new game, but it's like they already had Lucina and Robin, which they didn't. Back when they showed off Lucina and Robin, people thought they were too recent to put them in the game, for crying out loud. So it's like, oh, you already represented... like, when you have 6 characters in the game representing a franchise, if they toss in another one, it's still not going to make you know who it is.
Well, it's not even a big franchise. It's not even a big one. Like, everyone and their mom has only played Awakening and think it's, like, the best thing since they jizzed on bread. And it was like, come on, dude. Like,
The thing is, it's like... The thing is... I don't want to know your answer to that. The thing is, like, when you have 6 characters, that's plenty enough characters to get people asking questions. Adding another one isn't really going to do anything for them. It's not going to be like, oh, this 7th character that looks similar, now I'm going to ask who they're from. It's like, no, you have a lineup of so many of them. If you had ever had a question for them, you'd ask. And then...
And people are gonna buy whatever the Fire Emblem If kind of shit. They're been out in Japan already, and all the weebos who think Awakening's amazing, they're already gonna buy it. And, they're gonna realize it sucks. But it's like it's like if it's a marketing thing, then it makes no sense. You know what I mean? It's just lazy, in my opinion. That's it.
So,
that's the only way I can look at it.
So I do think Corrin does have some cool abilities with their special moves and whatnot, like sticking into people and sticking in the floor, and like their side B move and eating people, and I forget all of them, but they have some cool moves, so there's at least that. But I think it was so I'm kind of a hypocrite because I said before with some other characters, like, oh, if you don't like this character, it's like cast of 50, 60 characters, there's going to be something. But whatever, they did what they did, but I think it's just a missed opportunity. Like, obviously, I wanted Banjo in, but I know he wasn't going to be as likely. But I think it was just a missed opportunity, because if they're going to show an advertise a new game, I would think they'd want to advertise the Wii U and Splatoon, because that's a new IP, a brand new character that like everyone has loved so much and knows of, that sold crazy well for Nintendo, and would just be something good to promote, especially when it's the characters coming out in February, and Splatoon content is likely going to end in January as far as what they've said. So it could be a good way to get people interested back into the game, like, oh yeah, I forgot about that game Splatoon, maybe I'll check it out, kind of thing. Whereas Fire Emblem Fates, it's only really in Japan, it's probably not going to come out for a couple of months, that kind of thing. So Sakurai has kind of been getting some hate, of course, because people are like, he loves this franchise, and no, they're getting another character, but it doesn't seem like it's all his fault or anything. He met with Nintendo about including a character from a recent game, and it just says they decided on advertising Fates with Corrin. I'm assuming the translation means they, as in Nintendo, decided advertising Fates versus something else. And then Sakurai talked with his team and said they could think of something cool. But I think Nintendo kind of stuck their head in a bit and said, well, the other games are already out, we want to advertise this new game that's about to come out, kind of thing.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Okay, they could have put Paper Mario with that logic. Paper Jam coming up.
Oh gosh. Right. But I do want to say, as much as I hated seeing Corrin, because I'm like, well, it's too much of a franchise that we don't really need to see more of. I was super surprised about Bayonetta, and I absolutely love it, because it's funny, because I played Bayonetta 2, or I played Smash 4, and then I played Bayonetta 2, and then when I returned to Smash, I'm like, man, playing Bayonetta 2 messed up my game, and now Bayonetta's in the game, so that's kind of funny. But no, I think she looks really cool. She's definitely a combo-heavy character. She basically looks like Zero Suit Samus, but like 10 times better. And
no way.
She looks really cool.
Like the second best character in the game, bro. So
and also the Kirby hat for Bayonetta is hilarious, because it looks like Kirby is shooting bullets out of his ass.
Alright, but the worst thing is that I read some like Twitter thing, like about, they said that Bayonetta was only #1 in Europe. It was like low ass numbers and everywhere else. So it's just like,
they claimed she was top in other She was top.
It was like
what
top
was it?
5
top
in
5 in all the
America.
other regions, or in American region or whatever. So
yeah,
I don't know.
When I hear King K. Rool, Banjo-Kazooie, and Knuckles, I start to doubt that. And Gino, I'm like, there's no way she's a solid 5th place. All right, in every other region right there. So I doubt that shit.
Yeah,
That's a straight up lie, and it's lazy, okay, because they didn't want to go for another one of these characters that are, not that they technically own, but, they would have an easy right to get. That's what I felt like. I was like, oh my god, they copped out and got Bayonetta because that was the last game she was published for, and everyone blows platinum games, alright? It's just like, it felt like I literally felt scammed, and I was like, holy shit, I wasted my time with that vote. Even though I only did one, it was like I waited all this time, all right, for you guys to do something that it's probably the easiest thing done. Like, it must have been more work getting Ryu than, I'm not even talking Cloud, and yet for the character vote thing, there was no way on earth that Bayonetta. I think Shovel Knight would have been 5th place in most places. You know what I mean? There's no way.
I don't know. Consider the fact that the vote. Let's think about this. One thing to consider: the vote went down. Granted, you could vote for months. I know that, But when they announced it, guaranteed that's going to be when the most votes get cast. You know, people aren't going to be remembering to go back and vote, except all for the most hardcore people aren't going to be going back like 3 months later and voting some more. There's no
hardcore Bayonetta fans like that.
But I'm saying Bayonetta was fresh then. But Bayonetta was fresh then, and it's going to get a lot more votes. And I have to be honest, like, even though all people like us and people on, you know, some of the websites we frequent, you know, King K rule this and, you know, Sonic and Knuckles or whoever that, I don't know if that, I think we're in our own bubble on that kind of stuff sometimes where, you know, Bayonetta has a whole game that people know about and it didn't sell that well, but they said it was #1 in Europe, top 5 in other regions. I can buy it. They never promised us it was going to be the #1 world vote getter either. Yeah. That's another thing. They never said that.
Yeah, I don't really know if Bayonetta is the top 1, but I'm guessing out of, let's say, the top 5, they said, okay, we could do this character, or okay, we see and we think this character would have enough interest of the characters that are legit, not just like Friday Nights at Freddy's Fazbear crap or Goku or whatever.
Let's be honest, King K. Rule, who the hell's that guy? I don't care about him. Sorry, Mike. He's a just big fat old dude with a crown. I don't care. You know what I mean? Bayonetta. I'd rather look at Bayonetta any day of the week.
Bro, you don't understand. Like, it's just the biggest cop out bullshit. And like, it just like sucked all the soul out of Smash for me. I already hated, like, the second that Direct came up and I saw another fire freaking bullshit emblem character, I was like, holy shit, Sakurai, I hate you. So let's keep going. You might surprise me.
One thing to note, I mean, Matt, I don't think you covered this. One thing to note is I believe Sakurai has acknowledged, is this not true, that he thinks even it's a little heavy on Fire Emblem characters, but that's the way the cards sell.
Yeah, I mean, he said was...
Hey, he agrees with...
What he said was, even before Corrin, he thought the Fire Emblem cast was packing it on a bit. So that's why I'm thinking Nintendo kind of forced his hand a bit with him going for Corrin, because there's that. He said, like, he even thinks there's too many Fire Emblem characters, and then this translation about him meeting Nintendo, and then kind of pushing him in that direction. But the funny thing about Bayonetta and Smash is, so they're promoting Bayonetta in this game, but no one can buy the game because it's out of print. So what kind of good is that? Is Nintendo going to reprint the game now?
I want to say a personal thanks to Mike, because I know what I'm doing over my lunch tomorrow. I'm going to drive the 23 minutes to that GameStop where they've got a copy according to the the website, and try and get myself a copy for $35. So Matt, if you can do me a favor and not publish this until 1:00 p.m. tomorrow, so that nobody in the Philadelphia region might hear this and run out and scarf that up. You know, I'm gonna try and grab that last copy. I'm hoping they got it, and I hope it has an original case, but I'm gonna buy it even if it doesn't. So we'll see. But thanks a lot. I hadn't looked it up in a couple days, and it does look like there's a copy in my area, and it's the only one in like 100 miles. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it doesn't say that's the only thing in 100 miles from me. I mean, you'll be lucky. If I'm driving right now, I'll go there and I'll burn that copy.
They're closed, man. They're closed. It's nighttime. Camping out for a game that came out like a year ago.
I'll wait for you to drive there, and I'll just leave a hammer and the CD out and just destroy it in front of your ass.
Oh, terrible. No, I usually publish it around like noon or so, and we're in the same time zone, so it should be fun.
That would be the funniest if I get there and there's some guy like, "Hey, I heard this on some podcast last night. I just got the last copy."
Out of like 100 listeners, there's someone who lives in Philadelphia listening to this and also doesn't have Bayonetta and also wants it.
Oh man, that's I'd be pissed. I'd be like, "You've got to give it to me. No, you got to give it over right now."
Yeah.
I don't know. How much?
You know what? Just played it.
Sorry, Eli. What were you saying?
Sorry. I said, how much is that secrecy of information worth to you?
Yeah. Is it worth $115?
Well, it's $35. I'm willing to pay $60 up front, so that's like, maybe you guys can wring like $20 out of me here. Maybe. We'll see. Here in Philly,
Screw Eli, my dollar is terrible. Give me all the money. He's got the Target deals going. Was there anything anyone else wanted to say about the Smash DLC?
I mean, I don't care about the guy from Fire Emblem. Who cares? I don't even own Roy yet, you know. But I don't know.
I've been out of the loop of Smash Brothers for a little while now.
You got to get back in it, man. You got to hit me. You got to hit me up sometime. We got to play. Me and Matt play sometime. If you see us online.
I gotta get back into Xenoblade. That's what.
Oh man, Mike, was there any last statement you wanted to say about Smash?
Yeah, F you, Sakurai.
Oh my god. He sounds so sad. Mike's just like totally
He's like, he
depressed.
ripped out my heart.
But maybe
Yeah,
the next.
man, you're like, I like Smash, and I was like making money and stuff, man. And now it's like,
Maybe
F
the
you,
next.
guy.
While he's
maybe
crying,
next-
he's still playing one-handed, killing people, making $50.
Yeah, they're gonna buff Diddy the next update, and you're gonna be back on it. You're gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, right. They're gonna bump Diddy, man. They'll never bump Diddy.
He sounds like he's crying.
So, speaking of Sakurai, he said he started his next project. So that's kind of cool. So it's probably
Kid
obviously...
Icarus 4.
I'm kind of hoping if it's not a new IP for an Ice Climbers game, because I think he could do something cool with that after Kid Icarus.
Wow, that's a long shot. That's a crazy
Yeah.
idea right there.
But I mean, who thought Kid Icarus would... Well, actually, Kid Icarus got a game because he was in Brawl, and I guess people got interested in him from that. But they took Ice Climbers out of Smash 4. So, who knows?
I wish it would be Kid Icarus like Uprising sequel for the NX or something like that. I'd be that would be something ridiculous if they could blow the doors off that with him working on that all this time and then bring that to NX whenever it comes out. Something similar with, you know, a little bit better controls, obviously. You know, I mean, that game was awesome and it deserves a sequel, but he dissolved the studio, so it seems like a, you know, kind of a long shot too. Or excuse me, I should say dissolved the team that built it. So who knows? But yeah, what else does Sakurai do besides Smash and Kid Icarus? Like what else has he possibly done that
Not
could
much.
become
So I was looking up. He basically did Kirby for a couple of years left, then did and Smash Melee, and I think they called him back to do Brawl. I think he did a game called Medios on the DS, like a puzzle game.
I have that game. It's great. I didn't know he worked on that. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I think he did that after leaving HAL Laboratories, and I think he did that between Melee and Brawl, and then got called back for Brawl, and then got called back for Smash 4.
I hope they're
And
not
obviously
wasting
Kid Icarus was in between there, so...
I hope they're not wasting that guy's talents on a Kirby game. Again, no offense to the Kirby fans.
He hasn't been involved with Kirby for like years, I don't think.
Kid Icarus sequel, Kid Icarus 4, or whatever they want to call it, would be my call. That would be kind of like a dream come true because I'm a huge fan of that series. So, you know, it would be neat to see him do that. Because even with the like, I know it wasn't super popular. Maybe Mike or maybe you guys have played it a little bit, but the Kid Icarus Uprising online, like, you know, competitive battles were really cool, but difficult to control. But it was a really neat kind of like 3D fighting environment that he got to run on the 3DS. It was just really hard if you weren't super good at the game. So, you know, if he could bring something like that to a full console version, you know, with like kind of dogfighting Kid Icarus type stuff, you know, or whatever you want to call that, I would be a happy guy.
Yeah, I think because he only makes like one other game in between Smash games, I'm kind of hoping he does something like different, just so we can get something different before they put him on the Smash wagon. Unless Smash 4 is his last, who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's definitely been killing him, that's for sure. Poor guy.
Yeah.
But on to some other news. The only good Super Mario Galaxy game, the original, is on the eShop.
Shut up!
I just wanted to put that out there, I know. Minecraft is the 9th best-selling game on the eShop in Japan after being available for a week. So I thought that was really weird. I didn't know Japan like cared about Minecraft, so I guess they do. You learn something new every day. There's a rumor that the NX is going to be privately shown at the Consumer Electronics Show in January and be as powerful as an Xbox One. Who knows? I guess.
By the way, let me clarify that rumor came from our site, and I personally have no idea how accurate that is.
Okay.
That came from our editor-in-chief, so I have no idea where that came from. But I heard it's a trusted source, but I don't really know, so I can't really even tell you how reliable I think it is.
Okay.
Wow,
So
interesting.
apparently the same thing happened with the Wii U in 2012. It was shown off. I don't know if it was privately or publicly, but the Wii was brought to the Consumer Electronics Show in 2012 in January. So there's some precedence, I guess you could say, that for them.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a continuing tradition. The other thing is, we'll never really know if this rumor was real or not, because ideally it would stay a secret, because they're just showing it off to developers.
Yeah.
So...
Well, hopefully they have a January or February direct starting off talking about the NX in some kind.
I don't know. I think that might be a little early. I think that we might see NX information April, May-ish, and then a full reveal at E3. I think that
possibly.
I think that February might be a little early.
When was the PS4 and Xbox had their first early announcements?
PS4 was February, but Xbox was May.
Okay, I'm only saying January, February for Nintendo because I know they have like early year directs. Although I don't know how many times they've actually done those. It may have just been the 1 year, but they usually have something in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they still have some games for the Wii U to release in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You got Star Fox, you got Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem. I think after Star Fox launches, then you hear. And I mean, the Wii U, when it was first going through, it was a bunch of leaks, I think, in May. April or May. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had like a little teaser of some sort of leak in May, and then actually in June the full reveal.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that February's a little early.
Yeah, I think they need to start drumming up hype before E3 just to kind of get the name out there and get people used to it, and then have stuff after E3, just keep talking about it and showing off stuff, because that's the one thing that we had a problem with. No one knew what the heck it was, and no one was really talking about it. So hopefully they don't make that mistake again. So Pokemon Go is going to have gyms and work for smaller towns. So I'm kind of bringing this up because I live in a smaller town of, I don't know, like 80,000 people. It's a little schmuck of a place. So gyms will take more effort to get to, and the Pokemon will vary based on your location. So if you're near water, you'll find water Pokemon. If you're in the middle of a volcano, no. But yeah, if you're near certain locations, you'll get Pokemon based on that. And they are building the game to work with varying population sizes. So one example they said was one of the developers who's making the game, or who made the other game, I forget what it's called. They're from Nicalis, whatever the last thing they made. One of the developers lived in Texas. One of the developers lived in a town in Texas of only 1,000 people, and that's clearly a lot less than my own town. But they said if they couldn't make the previous game Ingress work on a smaller scale, then it wouldn't work on such a huge level and be a huge success. So I don't know. I think it's pretty good that they're taking in even the smallest places in mind, because, yeah, if not everyone is able to play it, like, this game's not going to go far. So I'm kind of happy to hear that, because I don't want to have to walk 3 miles just to find one other Pokemon, or have specific meetups in certain places just because I live in such a small area. So I'm happy to hear that. The Pokken Tournament controller is coming to the West. It's going to be sold on Amazon for $25, and it's going to be wired and only works with the Pokken Tournament game. I don't really know why anyone would want to buy it, especially when it's only in like select arcades in North America, so it seems kind of pointless, especially when you could just have a Pro controller, which is better and works with like 100 times the amount of games. The first edition Pokemon trading cards are getting a reprint for the 20th anniversary, so that's kind of cool. The Sonic band Crush 40 mentioned that they're making music for a Sonic 25th anniversary game. So it looks like we could be getting a new Sonic game this year. And I think they held off. They held off on making a big release Sonic game last year, so it's possible there's a new one coming out this year. Hopefully it doesn't blow, like a couple other last ones, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, like that Bayonetta 2 in Hyrule Warriors. Alright, but yeah.
Okay. And apparently, that one music website you thought was dead because of illegal downloads, Napster, is coming to the Wii U. Has anyone even heard of that in like the last 10 years?
What would you use it for? I don't understand what Napster is anymore. Like, what's the point of it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm like, what the heck, Napster? Why is that coming?
Neat.
I'm just surprised that it's survived this long somehow. I'm like, really? What do people use Napster for? It still exists? Like, it didn't die after a couple of years?
They probably rebranded. They're probably some kind of streaming service by now. It looks like none of us know, and that's probably not the biggest piece of news on earth. You know, hey, Napster, huzzah!
No, but
you know,
I mean, I'm surprised because like it's a thing and it's coming to the Wii U. It's like, what? I didn't know it still existed. Sorry, Mike, you were going to say something?
Yeah. I don't know. Isn't Napster like 2003-ish?
Yeah, it's old as crap.
Yeah. That's all I can remember. I'm like, this thing is old.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I thought it was
At least Wii U is getting something useless. I mean, useful. I mean, nothing.
Some new Mario Maker elements came out. I forget what they were. Time trial kind of things. You could have bumpers. So if you bounce on something, you get thrown away. P-warp doors, so you would have to activate a switch to make a door appear, which kind of helps some people with... Some people were able to get around that with some creative thinking, but now they made it easier. And now there's a Fire Koopa Clown car that shoots fireballs out of it, so you can make shoot-'em-up kind of levels, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, those bumpers are neat. That's the first one I saw yesterday when I was playing a little bit. I haven't seen the other stuff yet, though. I haven't been building it all. I've just been jumping in and playing a few levels here and there, so I haven't actually seen all the new stuff yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think the bumpers are like the first new thing we haven't had before, correct? Like, Mike,
I was wondering what they were when I saw them. I was like, what the heck is that thing? And I'm glad to hear you say that, because I felt kind of like a noob or something. Like, what is that thing on my screen there?
Because
you know,
I know,
cool.
I know the Sonic game has bumpers with some of the pinball type of levels, and even Smash Bros has its own bumper, or did in some of the other games. But Mike, have you ever heard of a bumper in a Mario game? Because I can't recall any. It seems like it's a totally new thing.
We're talking there's things that are green, right? They're like the green thing with eyes, right?
I don't know. It looks like an inner tube.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I can't think of any game. The only game I would guess is like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, but I doubt it. Like, I don't remember ever a bumper in anything.
Yeah, I think it's totally new. I definitely haven't seen it before.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Weird that it's like the first new thing out of some of the other things they've done, but that's neat. Yeah, like I said a little while ago, it looks like January is going to be the end of Splatoon content, because they said they have no plans for paid DLC, and that January is going to be the end of the free content. So if there's no free content and no paid content, then there obviously can't be any more content. So they did add 2 more new maps a week or 2 ago that I wanted to try out. Me and you, Unoclay, should try out.
I'm still down. I want to play it some more. I've been kind of away from Splatoon for a while, but I mean, the fact that they've supported this game, I guess it's got to be a year now, right? I don't recall when it
launched in August or July or something, I think.
No, it launched like the beginning of summer, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so not a year, but 6 months, let's say, of content. It's pretty awesome. The game's a full game now. 6 months later. But it's great. I want to play it some more too, so definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. They have one with conveyor belts and one with like propeller controlled platforms, so you gotta shoot ink on it to raise the platform and things like that. And one other cool thing I saw from Unseen64 is that there's a rumor there's a free-to-download Amiibo game. So it's rumored to be complete and released in the first quarter of this year, 2016. That it's free for Amiibo owners at least until April and available on both the Wii U and 3DS, which is kind of weird if the NX is coming out later this year. There's nothing so far on gameplay, but I don't know. I don't think it's on the level of Skylanders. It seems like it might be a smaller downloadable kind of thing. But because I can't really see them giving away Skylanders size of a game for free. But I don't know. That seems kind of cool. Would anyone else be interested in finally getting that Amiibo game that actually uses them in neat ways?
Yeah, I would. I can speak first. I can say that, like, given that I own quite an embarrassing number, not as many perhaps as Eli, but very many, and duplicates even in some cases, I'd be psyched to have something to do with them other than just train them in Smash, so for sure. I hope it's not crap. If it's crap, I'm going to actually be more insulted than if they didn't do it at all. I'll say.
Yeah, because
as someone who has purchased every single Amiibo, but will never take one out of the package.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not going to.
I don't see a purpose for this game.
Well, yeah, because you're never going to take it out. You're like, even I've gotten to that point where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I can play with these in Smash. I kind of lined them up. I don't know if I want to take them off the. They're not even in the boxes. They're just sitting on a desk. But I'm like, I arranged them nicely. I don't know if I want to take it off and move it.
Byron, here in boxes on the.
I have a Kirby that's open, and then I won an extra nest from a contest, so that one's open too. So unless I can get through the game exclusively on Kirby and Ness, no thank you.
Man, you guys in your plastic prisons, those poor little Amiibos. I feel bad for your Amiibos.
And Shovel Knight, since he can be used in the box.
If it's a cool enough game, I'll definitely scan them on. But this is an interesting thing because even if it is somewhat smaller, it maybe not be as big as Skylanders or something, but if it has that kind of gameplay to it and they can give it away for free, that's a huge advantage. Because think, with Skylanders and Lego Infinity and all these other Toys to Life games, they at least cost $60 to $100 for the starter pack or just the game. So if you're here's Nintendo's little game you can play with your Amiibo and fight things and whatnot, and it's free, all you need is the character itself. It's I'd say that's a pretty big heads up on their competition, because then it's I just pay for the character $10-15 and then I'm good. Whereas the other ones, it's you have to buy the base game and then the characters and then possibly DLC packs.
Yeah.
I guess no one else cared as much as me.
I agree. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
I agree. It's because
there's so many other games available. If they want to stick their head out and get some advantage, they gotta, make it worth their while.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I want something quality out of it.
Yeah,
I don't want them to give me some cheap thing. Personally, for the example that for me that comes to mind is a Subspace Emissary. I know people liked it. I thought it was garbage. Personally, I thought it was wonky. I thought it didn't need to be there in Brawl. Of course, I'm talking about the campaign mode in Smash Brothers Brawl, for anyone who doesn't remember, where it just felt like the characters were out of place. It felt like, okay, great, I have a kind of, I don't know, platformy type game where, if I don't want to do the actual reason I bought this game, which is fight other people, I walk around and kill some really easy baddies. I don't want something like that. If they're going to release something for my Amiibos, I want to have some quality to it. Even if it's just if it's an 8-bit game, I'd be psyched, that the graphics aren't incredible, but the game is actually good. The underlying game is fun. Nintendo, if you're listening, the game's more important than looking cool. I want to scan my Amiibos and do something cool with them, so, that's it for me.
And then, and the Nintendo president realizes that he wants to make Amiibo worth something other than, actually valuable to people, because he knows people just buy them and do jack all with them. So, they definitely know that they want to make something more engaging than just here's a costume or here's a little thing or little trinkets and whatnot. But I don't know, even though Skylanders is simple, if they could make something like that cheap enough, I'd be up for it. Because just looking at Bowser and Donkey Kong and Skylanders, like, that's so cool. They put them... It's not just like they throw in Smash Bros. I don't know. It's not the same where it's like, oh, here, we'll just give them a Smash Brothers moveset. It's like, here, we gave them, like, hammer and, I don't know, boxing gloves or whatever, and Bowser can control minions. Like, they really put some interesting thought and creative thought into that. That
Right.
might not have been done on its own. So hopefully that gives Nintendo ideas of, like, hey, they did something weird and crazy with our characters we haven't done. Maybe we could do something like that.
Right. Yeah, no, that game looked okay to me when I saw the videos of it. So I agree. If it's something of that level, but like you said, are they going to give away, if that rumor is true and they're going to give it away for free to Amiibo owners or at a discounted price, is it going to be a game of that caliber? Who knows?
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. So,
Yeah. So I guess that'll end the podcast for this week. So I'm Matt. You can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And Elia, where can people find you?
You can find my writing at NintendoEnthusiast.com and on Twitter at PaulCelon.
All right, moving on from Tiny Eli to Mike.
Yeah, you guys, you can find me at Gaming Night Live at YouTube, or you can find me at Troy Holbuster on Twitter and Twitch. I forget what the hell I'm doing on Gaming Night Live, so be surprised. But yeah, I think there's probably just some bombs and some other stuff. But yeah, I can't remember our plan. Oh well.
You're at least playing Kirby Triple Deluxe last time. I know you played a couple
Yeah,
of more things since then, though.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
put
Well,
up,
I mean, that's.
I was going to say, you put up a Keep Talking and No One Explodes.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're almost done with that. So I mean, but no, there's something else, but I can't remember it right now. Oh well. Hey, I finally found my Mario Kart 8, and I didn't know if I wanted to throw it out the window or actually put it in the Wii U. So that's the fun story of the day. I was like, holy shit, I didn't lose this game. Maybe I just was so ignorant to not looking at, like, you know, shitty games that I just couldn't see it the whole time. So.
Like, it was on my couch this whole time?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's right on my bed. Like, I was sleeping on it every day.
Jeez. Alrighty.
Oh, Clay.
that's not as bad as a friend of mine who over Christmas told me. So the other day, I'm sleeping in my bed, and there's a female too, and she's cool, by the way. And she goes, and I'm like, what's that at my feet? And it turns out my basset hound dog had taken an entire, like, hoagie, as we call it down here, a submarine sandwich to the rest of the country, taken it in the bed, eaten half of it, and then dragged it and hid it under the covers. So she had her feet in this, like, this submarine sandwich all night. She's like, it was the grossest thing of my life. I wake up with my feet covered in bread and mayonnaise and stuff like that. It was awesome. So, you know, so that's better. It's probably better than finding a Mario Kart in your bed or whatever. So, you know, it's cool. So there's your bonus story for the day.
Yeah. Speaking of Unoclay, where can people find you?
I'm Clay. You can find me here on this podcast. That's it.
All right, then. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can drop us a question on any of our social pages, or if you want to be a guest, you can message me on Twitter at the Mango Viking. So see you next time, and leave gaming to Nintendo.